Declan Rice, who was undoubtedly brilliant for Arsenal last season, hasn't managed to find that form for England at the Euros. He's been one of many players criticised, and look, watching him for England, yeah, he's not been the player that we saw at Arsenal. I think there's a lot of reasons. We're not going to go into that so much. But I do want to talk about this continued uncertainty around whether he's a 6 or an 8, because there's a quote he delivered that is not I'm not criticising him when I say this, but there's a quote he delivered to the media that for me actually sparked some concerns, and in this video I'm going to break down why. But let's just start with a little bit of context and explain why, once again, the debate around 6, 8, all that has come up. And we'll just start by showing you this from Gary Neville, where he said following the England-Denmark game, I want to mention a player who we all love 100%. Mikel Arteta moved Declan Rice out of that position, the number 6, for the last 15 games of the season to bring in Jorginho and Partey because he's not that good at playing there. That's the most nervous I've ever seen Declan Rice, and he's a brilliant player. I think he's better further up the pitch. If you think about what Kroos, Rodri, Vitinha do, they're players who get the team going, and Man United was Roy Keane and Paul Scholes. It's Jorginho at Arsenal. So what he's saying is that Arsenal started the season with Declan Rice playing more as a 6. At the end of the season, they moved him up to an 8, or at least got him in more of a double pivot with another player next to him. Now, for what it's worth, it sparked a lot of debates as to why this is the case. People are saying the likes of Rodri, Vitinha, they're better on the ball, they can pass in a way Declan Rice can't. And let me just show you these numbers and just say that, look, while a lot of these numbers will be inflated because of the fact he plays for Arsenal, a team with a lot of the ball, he is not someone who struggles to pass a football, Declan Rice. Not everyone can be Rodri on the ball, but he's a very good passer of a football, and a lot of the times it's systems and players around you and partnerships that allow, there has to be a good receiver for the good passer as well. So I think people getting onto Declan Rice for his ability to pass, you know, I hear what Gary Neville's saying to a degree, that he's not Rodri or Kroos, but then I don't think people are expecting him to be, and I think his ability to pass the ball and dictate a game is much more heavily criticised than it should be, in my opinion. But this is not actually the thing I really wanted to talk about. I just thought that was an interesting bit of context to the big discussion. This, as you can see from Goonerverse, he said that Declan Rice will speak with the media before playing for England. He said that my first discussions with Mikel Arteta was to go to Arsenal and play as a 6. But as we started to play more, Arteta liked me in the 8 and it gave us more balance. I can play both and I'm very happy to play 8 or 6. Now, this is a player who, like he's just said, the idea at first was him to come and be a defensive midfielder at Arsenal, sit in front of the back four and screen, but we moved away from that. It's not the first time that Arsenal have moved away from their original ideas for a player, or in terms of certain players, just flat out in general. Let me show you what I mean, because David Ornstein did tell us back a year ago that Kai Havertz has been earmarked to replace Granit Xhaka in the left 8 role, but the entire tactical remodelling of the midfield has been predicated on the German playing alongside Rice. Kai Havertz originally came in to be a number 8, we all know this, and originally the idea was that he was going to play alongside Declan Rice. There was going to be a remodelling of the midfield, but Arsenal reverted back to something with Jorginho and Partey, Rice playing something more similar to the role Xhaka had, and Havertz has now become a striker who we're not sure whether to replace in this window because he did a good job there. There's more evidence of this, and we show you this around Jurriën Timber. The addition of Timber added flexibility and quality to Arsenal's defensive options. While he was initially brought to play as a right back and centre back, a series of impressive pre-season performances at left back changed Arsenal's thinking. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't sign really talented footballers, of which we clearly have been, and Arteta and Edu have got so much right in the window, people. What the hell do I know, especially when their track record and their portfolio has been really, really good. So don't for one second think that I'm being hypercritical in any way. But the reason I think there's a slight concern, those Declan Rice quotes, when you marry up with everything else, is that how often do Arsenal get a player that they think is going to do this, but actually they move away and use them for something else? And if we're to catch Man City and get to the very, very top, do we need a little bit more clarity in terms of what these players are going to do? Because when you look at all the rumours that we're hearing this summer transfer window, it's, well, they kind of want an 8, but the 6 market looks better. Well, they want a forward, and really they want an out-and-out number 9, but a winger might do. Like, is that the best thing moving forward for Arsenal? I think flexibility is a great thing. Not getting Mudryk got us Trossard, and how brilliant was he, in the run-in for the title. There are things like that where Arsenal have certainly responded really, really well to not getting their top targets, but there are players that we maybe thought could do something and then actually using for something else, or are moving on quite quickly. The likes of Aaron Ramsdale, for example. For 2 years, he was very, very good, but we've quickly moved on to David Raya. Gabby Jesus, who was, the marquee signing 2 years ago, now we need more of an out-and-out number 9. We don't know if he's going to play on the left or the right, and there's even rumours that we would listen to offers for him if they come in. I mean, Vlahovic was the original big money striker we wanted to get, who is an out-and-out kind of, fox in the box type, who's going to get lots of goals, who wants to get on the end of things, and we went for more of a build-up striker in Jesus. So I'm saying all this to say that I think there's a tendency for Arsenal to have an idea for what they want to do and actually pivot away quite quickly. The flexibility is undoubtedly a good thing. Look at the progress Arsenal have made. But that kind of quote, again, from Declan Rice, I don't think helps him when it comes to establishing a position. Then you get the media saying, well, is he a 6? Is he an 8? And then there's this kind of thing that he's better winning the ball up the pitch when he's actually still really good in possession. I don't think it does him any favours not having clarity in what he's going to do. I don't think it really helps Arsenal in terms of knowing what they want to do this summer either. So I just wanted to touch on all that as well. I think clarity for what we want for certain players is only a good thing, but flexibility to a point is a good thing too. Arsenal certainly use that in a good way. I just wonder whether some of you share some of my concerns, or am I being hypercritical? Let me know. In terms of whether he is a 6 or an 8, look, I did a video on this on my channel, still I think very relevant. A lot of what I said, even though it was about 2 months ago. Go have a watch if you're interested, where I talked about whether he's a defensive midfielder or a box-to-box. And my thoughts might have changed slightly. I think I need to watch it back and actually see what I said at the time. But if I just take you to the tactical pad, here's my general thinking. Because actually, before I go to the tactical pad, let me just show you this, right? He played 30 times as a 6 for Arsenal last season and 15 times as a central midfielder. Did get an appearance at centre-back in the Champions League. Now to the tactical pad. For me, it's very, very simple in terms of where I'm comfortable with Declan Rice. I think he is better in these defensive areas of the pitch. I think his passing is good enough to aid us in build-up. If Arsenal find themselves in a shape where Martinez is able to tuck in more and we're getting out-and-out left-back and get up the pitch, I've gone for Zinchenko just because being left-footed, he's kind of the closest to it, then I actually quite like him in a build-up too. I also like him in a 4-4-2 build-up, which we had for a lot of the 2024 basically, alongside a Partey or a Jorginho. So I like Declan Rice there. So if he's going to play as an 8, let's say, or with another 6, I don't mind that. It gives Odegaard a little bit more flexibility too. However, when it comes to this shape in particular that we've seen so many times, let's just move Rice up there and bring in Zinchenko. I don't love Rice in that area of the pitch. I don't love him with his back to goal. I don't love him having to turn. I think he can turn and drive at players, but in terms of being the intricate ball player who can find those Martinelli runs and sort of link everything, get that ball off Zinchenko, I don't love that. Can he do it? Yes, probably better than most. To the levels can get us to the title, I'm not convinced, and I don't think he ever looked quite as settled there as Granit Xhaka did when he was at his best the season before. But like I said, when he's a little bit deeper there, I prefer that. If we're going to get the 3-2-5 shape in some way, I prefer it like that, with a double pivot and Rice being a little bit deeper. Plus, if you lose possession, the counter press, whatever, you've got your 2 defensive midfielders, but with Rice there as an extra one, just to help break up the play. That's where I think Rice is more comfortable. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, people. Is Rice a 6 or an 8? Ultimately, when it comes to it, he's an elite ball-winning midfielder. I want to see him winning the ball in midfield. I want to see him. I don't know if there's anyone in the world who wins back possession like Declan Rice. So get him in a position in the team where he's able to do that best. That's what I think. On the ball, there's criticism of him. I think it's gone too far. He's perfectly fine in possession. He's very, very good in possession. Like I said, just because he's not Rodri doesn't mean he's not good with the ball at his feet. He can switch the play. He can pass through the lines. Look at that almost pre-assist for Foden and Saka for England against Slovenia. Foden was offside, but he's able to pull that out of the bag as well. Those are my thoughts on Declan Rice and his situation, but I think we need clarity on his future, as I've mentioned before. Now, a couple other bits of news to quickly update you on. Ian Wright was asked what was talking about is getting the best out of the England team, and he suggested Saka at left back, and there was a lot of uproar about it. A lot of people say, why would you take out our best right winger to get Cole Palmer in the team? And I think a lot of people felt that it fed into social media narratives, and there was some anger from Arsenal fans. Listen, I think Ian Wright's been totally misunderstood here. My general opinion is Bukayo Saka is actually the best left-footed, left-sided option to hug the touchline and give width to the England side that they desperately need. I think they can get that from the left wing. I wouldn't play him left back, but everyone just turning on Uncle Righty like that, I just don't really get it. I think it came from a place of getting a better right midfielder in Cole Palmer Palmer being not a better right midfielder than Saka, but a better right midfielder than Trippier is a left back, and Saka being such a good versatile player can play multiple positions and play them really, really well. Southgate's made a mess of his squad. We need to find solutions. I don't think getting Saka on the touchline on the left, attacking fullbacks, is a bad solution. That's just my opinion. Other bits of news. Osimhen, apparently there's a cut price, as you can see. Get Italian Football News are reporting that they're now willing to consider offers of 100 million euros. We talked about this on a live show yesterday. And base, that's 84 million. That's quite a big step down from the 107 million pounds Arsenal reportedly originally wanted. So let's see if Arsenal make a move there. And as we did cover the Bakayoko stuff on the live show yesterday, I should let you know that another apparently well-sourced individual has said that Bakayoko's entourage was surprised by the news in the media about Arsenal, because there was contact between parties for the last time. A year ago, it's clear that Bakayoko only wants to go to a club where the chance of playing time is very high, so that pours a bit of cool water on the links between Arsenal and Bakayoko. That's everything, everyone. That's been the latest news, updates, everything on what's going on with Arsenal. Let me know what you thought of the comment by Declan Rice and whether it sparked similar thoughts for you. Do you think that Arsenal lack a little bit of clarity in terms of what they want to do with a lot of the players they're signing, and actually what the perfect version of Mikel Arteta's Arsenal look like? Hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed this video. Go check out another video on my channel if you're enjoying this kind of content, and I'll see you all very, very soon.